Hello students. Students, by far in this chapter, that is the 8th chapter, respiration and circulation, we have completed studying about the respiration part and then we moved on to the circulation part. So in circulation also we have completed studying the components of blood and then we moved on to the heart where we basically studied about human heart. So we have completed the internal structure. We have studied the external internal structures of the heart. Now in this particular session we will be moving to the last part of this chapter where we will be studying about the pumping mechanism of the heart. That means how the heart pumps, how does it function, and how does it pump, and how by this pumping the blood is circulated through the heart. So this pumping mechanism of the heart, it is associated with the generation of impulse. Okay, so through this generation of impulse the heart pumps. So it is associated with the generation of impulse and how this impulse helps in the contraction of the heart. Okay, so what is pumping mechanism associated with? It is associated with the generation of impulse and how this impulse helps in contraction. Now for this generation of impulse and for the contraction through this impulse, it happens with a specialized muscle. So the pumping mechanism, it comprises of special cardiac muscles which are also known as nodal tissues. So in this part basically we'll be studying about certain important special cardiac muscles which are actually responsible for creating this impulse and which are responsible for the pumping mechanism of the heart. So we'll be starting with SA node, okay, and this SA node is called as, the full form of this SA node is sinoatrial node, which is also known as pacemaker. Okay, now what does this SA node do? From the place where this SA node is located on the heart, it generates impulse. Okay, and when we speak about its location of the heart, on the heart, it is located on the right atrium. So if you just recall the previous part, we had spoken about that this is the right side and this is the left side of the heart. Okay, when we are drawing the diagram or when we are studying the diagram, this is the right and this is the left side of the heart. So this SA node is located at the right atrium of the heart. And when we say on the right atrium, and if you want to know the exact location, it is very nearby or it is very close to the opening of the superior vena cava. Okay, so we had discussed that this is the superior vena cava, which is a vein that brings the blood from the upper part, the deoxygenated blood from the upper parts of the body. So the location of SA node is very near to the superior vena cava. Now this SA node, it is a node which has the highest degree of autorhythmicity. It is 70 to 8 times per minute. Okay, and it has the least conductivity. Now let us see how this impulse is generated through SA node. So this impulse is generated through this SA node and then it travels to the wall of the arteries. When we say the walls of the arteries, that means this impulse travels to the left as well as the right artery. So the SA node, it generates the impulse and after the impulse is generated, it travels to the left as well as right arterial wall. Okay, and when this is traveled, when the impulse travels to the walls of the arteries, there is a stimulus that is conducted. Okay, and this stimulus is conducted at a rate of 1 meter per second. Okay, and then with the stimulus of 1 meter per second, it reaches the other tissue. Okay, so let us see what is the other tissue. The other tissue is called the AV node and it is also known as a pace setter. So SA node is called as pacemaker that generates the impulse, and then once the impulse is generated, it travels to the walls of the arteries and it reaches the next tissue, next special cardiac tissue, that is called AV node. This AV node is known as the pace setter. Now AV node if we speak about the location of the AV node is also located, you can say, somewhat to the right atrial near the right atrium. So you can say it is located in between the interauricular and the interventricular space. So this is where the AV node is located. Now the impulse that travels from SA node to AV node, it travels in 0.3 seconds. Okay, so in a time of 0.3 second, the impulse that is generated at SA node, it travels and it reaches the AV node. Now let us see what happens further. Now this impulse that is reached to AV node with a stimulus that is conducted at a rate of 1 meter per second and in a time of 0.3 seconds, it is now sent to the walls of the ventricles with a speed of 1.5 to 4 meter per second. Okay, so once it is come over here to the AV node, now it is sent to the walls of the ventricles. So from AV node, so if you see this diagram over here, this is the right atrium, this is the left atrium. Okay, so this is the right side, this is the left side. This is the right ventricle, this is the left ventricle. So the impulse was generated here at the SA node, then it traveled to the AV node. Now after it travels to the AV node, from the AV node, it arises or it is traveled to the walls of the ventricle. So now what happens is, from the AV node arises certain bundle, okay, which is known as the AV bundle, or it is also known as bundle of His. Okay, so bundle of His, it is the name has been given by the scientist, after the scientist. So bundle of His. Now this bundle of His, if you see, this is the bundle of His or the AV node. Okay, the yellow bundle that you see over here. Okay, so this bundle of His is divided into two branches, and these branches travel to this through this interventricular septum. Okay, and further, if you see, these branches are further divided into certain fibers. Okay, so from these branches certain fibers arise, and these fibers are known as Purkinje's fiber. Okay, so that is how the impulse is traveled. It is generated at SA node. In 0.3 seconds, it is traveled to the AV node, and from the AV node, certain bundles arises which are known as AV bundles, or which are also known as bundle of His. Now this bundle of His, it travels through this interventricular space, and after it travels, it is divided into two parts. So it is again divided into two branches, and then these branches, from these branches arises certain fibers that travels to all the wall of the ventricles, and these fibers are known as Purkinje's fiber. Now when we speak about human heart is known as myogenic heart. Why is it called as myogenic heart? Because the impulse that is generated, it is generated by special muscles, and these special muscles are special cardiac muscles. So you can say the impulse is generated from the heart itself. That is how it is called as myogenic heart. Whereas in lower vertebrates, the heart is known as neurogenic heart, because the impulse that is generated, it is generated from the brain. Okay, so that is how in lower vertebrates the impulse that comes from the brain, and that is how their heart is called as neurogenic heart. When we speak about humans, the heart is known as myogenic heart. Now let us see further about the working mechanism of the heart. Okay, so by now we have done the pumping mechanism of the heart, how the heart pumps, how the impulse are generated from the SA node to the AV node, and then it is traveled through this bundle of His, and then to the fibers, and then to the ventricular walls. Next, we are going to study about the working mechanism of the heart. That means how the heart works. For this, we have to understand the cardiac cycle. Okay, so we are going to study in detail about the cardiac cycle. Now the cardiac cycle is nothing but contraction and relaxation of the heart. And through this contraction and relaxation of the heart, the blood is pumped through the heart. Okay. Now, in scientific terms, when we are studying about the working mechanism of the heart, contraction will be called as systole and relaxation will be called as diastole. So henceforward in this topic, working mechanism of the heart, whenever we have to speak about contraction, we will be using the word systole, and whenever we have to speak about relaxation of the heart, we will be using the word diastole. Okay. So first we will be speaking about the auricular systole. Okay. And then we will be speaking about the ventricular systole. Now, auricular systole that takes place in the auricles or the atrium, that comprises of the right as well as the left atrium. So again, once more, this is the right side, this is the left side. Okay. So auricle systole, what is auricular systole? Here the auricles are contracting. And when we say the auricles are contracting, that means the blood is pumped from the respective auricles to their respective ventricles. How is this pumped? So when the auricle it contracts, both the auricular ventricular valves, that is this, it opens. Okay. So both of the right and the left atrium, the auricular ventricular valve, it opens. And as it opens, also when they open and the atrium is contracting, the eustachian and the tibial valve, okay, which is at the coronary sinus and at the inferior vena cava, it will close. Correct? It will close, and the opening of the superior vena cava as well as the pulmonary vein will also close at that time. Now, the superior vena cava and the pulmonary vein, they are not having any kind of valves. Why do they not have any kind of valve? Because they enter into the blood, they are opening into the blood, the opening into the heart is in such a manner that when the heart contracts, or you can say when the auricles contract, their openings automatically close. So what is happening in auricular systole? Auricular systole means the auricles are contracting. As I had told you all, when we are speaking about contraction, we will be using the word systole. So auricular systole means the auricles are contracting. And when the auricles contract, both the auriculoventricular valve, which are present on left as well as the right side, it will open. Second thing that will happen is the eustachian and the tibial valve will close, that is on the inferior vena cava as well as on the coronary sinus. This will close. The third thing that will happen is the opening of the superior vena cava and the opening of the pulmonary veins will also close in both the atriums. So, as all these things closes and the auriculoventricular valve opens, the blood that is filled into the auricles will be poured or will be pumped into their respective ventricles. Okay. Now, when the auricles are in systole, of course the ventricles will be in diastole, they will be in a relaxed manner. Okay. So, this auricular systole takes place in 0.1 second. That means in just a matter of 0.1 second, the auriculoventricular valve of both the sides open and all the other valves, that is the eustachian valve, the tibial valve, superior vena cava and then the pulmonary vein, everything closes. And when those things closes, that means there is no risk of the backflow of the blood. So the blood is poured into the respective ventricles. And by now, at this time, when the auricles are in the systolic condition, the ventricles are in diastole. Now let us see what happens further. The second thing happens is the ventricular systole. Now when we say ventricular systole, that means now the ventricles are contracting. Okay. Now let us see what happens when the ventricles contract. When the ventricles contract, the auriculoventricular valve which had opened, it will now close. Okay. So if you see this valve which was open over here and then the blood was flowing into the ventricles, At the ventricular systole, that means at the contraction of ventricles, this valve will automatically close. And this creates the first sound of the heart, and the first heart sound is called as lub, L-U-B, lub. So this is the first heart sound that is created when the auriculoventricular valve it closes and the ventricles will contract, or they will go into a systole. Now, the auriculoventricular valve are closing, and at the same time the semilunar valves of the aorta and the pulmonary artery opens. Okay, so this is the pulmonary artery and this is the aorta of both the ventricles. It will open, so the valves open, that means the blood can be pumped into these two arteries, the main arteries, the aorta and the pulmonary artery. And the time required for this ventricular systole, it takes only 0.3 seconds. Okay, now when the ventricles are in systole, the auricles are of course in diastole. Okay, so the auricles are in diastole. Now after the blood is pumped into the aorta and the pulmonary artery, the ventricles relax. That means the ventricles go into a diastole. Okay, once again, what happened by now? Auricles went under systole, that means the auricles contracted and the blood was poured in to their respective ventricles. After this, this took in a time of 0.1 second when the ventricles were in relaxed position. Now, the ventricles contract, that means the ventricular systole takes place. And at this time, the auricles are in diastole, that means the auricles are in relaxed position. Now, when the ventricles contract, the blood that was filled into their respective ventricles will now move into the aorta and the pulmonary artery. Okay, the semilunar valves will open and then they will be pumped into these two main arteries. This whole process of ventricular systole takes place in 0.3 seconds. Okay, after the blood is pumped into their respective arteries, the ventricle also goes in diastole. Okay, so the ventricle also goes in a relaxed position. Now when the ventricles are in a relaxed position, the auricles are already in a relaxed position. Okay, so this point where all the four chambers of the heart will be in a relaxed position, or all the four compartments of the heart will be in a relaxed position or will be in a diastole, this time is called as joint diastole, or it is called as complete diastole. So there is one time into this whole working mechanism where all the four compartments will be in a relaxed position, will be in a diastole, which is called as joint diastole or a complete diastole. Now let us see what happens next. So the ventricles are in a relaxed position. Okay, that means the volume of the volumes of the compartment, it increases, and as the volume increases, the pressure will decrease. Now when we speak about joint diastole, everything is in diastole. That means everything is in a relaxed manner. And when everything is in a relaxed manner, nothing is contracted. That means the volume increases. And when the volume increases, the pressure decreases. And as the pressure decreases, there are chances of the blood from the pulmonary artery that has traveled to the pulmonary artery and the aorta to flow back. Okay, why will this happen? Because the ventricles are in a relaxed manner. Okay, and the pressure is less. So there is chances, or there are risks, that the blood which was pumped into the pulmonary artery and the aorta will flow back. So to prevent this, to prevent the backflow, the semilunar valve closes. And this closing of the semilunar valves creates the second heart sound, which is known as dub. D-U-B, dub, or in some books you will find it as D-U-P, dub. Okay, so dub or dub, this is the second heart sound. When this happens, when the semilunar valves of the pulmonary artery and the aorta closes. Okay, now this joint diastole, that is when all the four compartments are in relaxed position, are in diastole, this continues for 0.4 seconds. Okay, so when all the four chambers are relaxed, the opening of the veins are again open. Now everything is in a relaxed position, that means the volume has increased, the pressure has decreased. That means the opening of the veins, that is the superior vena cava, the inferior vena cava, coronary sinus, as well as the pulmonary vein, everything opens, and then the blood again flows into the respective arteries. Okay, and this process goes on. That means once the arteries are the atriums are filled with the blood, again the same process will go on, that is they will contract, the arterioventricular valves will open and the blood will be pumped into the ventricles, and then again the same process of systole and diastole. So as this process goes on in a cyclic manner, it is called as cardiac cycle. Okay, so this was about the cardiac cycle. Now the time that the auricular systole takes is 0.1 second. Okay, and auricular diastole plus the joint diastole, that means when the auricles are in a diastolic condition, that is they are in a relaxed condition, plus the joint diastole, it is auricular diastole is 0.3 seconds and the joint diastole is 0.4 seconds. This goes for 0.7 seconds. Now when you calculate this, when you sum up the auricular systole, the total is 0.8 seconds. Okay, now ventricular systole goes about, it continues for 0.3 seconds, and ventricular diastole and the joint diastole together they make 0.5 seconds. And when again you sum up this ventricular systole and the diastole, this takes again 0.8 seconds. So if you see, both the auricular systole and diastole and the ventricular systole and diastole, it takes place in 0.8 seconds. So you can say that the cardiac cycle is completed, each cardiac cycle is completed in 0.8 seconds. Okay, so in this matter of 0.8 second, all these things take place. Okay, so students, this was about the pumping mechanism and the working mechanism of the heart. In the next part, we'll be studying about the cardiac output, and then we'll be moving to the second last part of this chapter where we'll be studying about blood pressure.